So, again, I want to thank everyone for being here this week. This is one week that I mean, look, we have 5 different conferences, and every one of them are special and unique in every way. But this is what I call our Super Bowl. This is a great week. Look at this room from left to right. We got over 300 here, and I believe next year we can have 400, and we're going to push to do that because it's about you. But I want to thank each and every one of you for being here. But most of all, I want to thank you for what you do every day in the plant. So if you're on the executive board, if you represent your executive board, president, vice president, financial secretary, recording secretary, your trustee, sergeant army guide, stand up. If you're on the internet, if you're on your local executive board, stand up. Remain standing. So I want to thank you for running your local each and every day and doing what you're doing. But also I want to say this, do your job, okay? Represent the membership. Run that local. Stay strong. But I want to say thank you for what you do every day. If you're a chairman, committeeman, steward, in the plant, zone committeeman, you represent in the plant, please stand up. Stand up. Thank you for what you do, for representing the membership on the floor each and every day. But I want to say this, if there's a member that needs you, represent them. Represent them. Under the law, duty of fair rep, you're required to represent them. I'm not being a pain, I'm not being a butt, I'm just going to call it an ass. I'm just being honest. Okay, that's your job to represent them. And I know we have brothers and sisters that's got gripes and complaints. I dealt with them. But listen to them. Sometimes they just want you to listen to them and understand what they're saying and walk away. And just by you listening, that means the world to them. But represent them. Represent them. So again, I want to thank you for what you do. Now, I know I see people sitting. So everybody stay seated. Everybody sit down. So I think I covered everybody from the plant to the e-board. So I've seen a lot of people that's sitting. So that either tells me that you've not run for a position or not active on the e-board or chairman. So what I'm about to say is get active, okay? I'm like President Fain. Not in my wildest dreams did I believe I'd be standing here as director of Region 8 coming from a small local as I did. But as I told you the other day, when a young man asked me to run, it changed my life because I got tired of the plant manager and HR kicking our butts. I got tired of people saying, coming back from a meeting saying the language is not in our favor when I can read. But you got to fight. Okay, it may not be in our way, but you fight. You make them think you know more than they do. So if you didn't stand, get engaged, get empowered, stand up and say, I can do this. Okay, I stood back there, I ain't gonna lie to you. I don't know if I can do this. I got a wife, I got 2 kids, a father, and then they pushed and I said, I can do this. I picked up that Constitution, I picked up that contract and I learned it. And then I prepared myself, my first conference in Pittsburgh. Never forget it. Right there, you go over the bridge at 3 Rivers. My very first conference. I didn't even need an airplane to fly home. All I wanted to do was take off and put my arms and I could have flew home like that. I was that motivated. And I hope when you leave here, you're that motivated. But when you're in these classes, you're in here, listen, get engaged. But one of you guys could be standing at this podium. One of you guys could be where President Fain is. The question is, do you want it? That's up to you. That's up to you. So, again, I want to thank all of you for being here. I want to thank you for what you do. I've tried to shake all of you's hand and get to know. I want to thank my staff. The staff has a tough job covering 17 states. 17 states. They have to drive a lot. They spend a lot of nights away from home. So I want to thank them for what they do each and every day. And then my clerical. Cannot survive without clerical when you're on the move like we do. There's sometimes I don't see them for weeks, but I talk to them every day. I love you guys. I appreciate what you do. I appreciate you being here. You're pouring your heart and soul in for this membership, so thank you, okay? Now, we have a special guest. I want to talk about Volkswagen. President Fain has appointed Chuck Browning to be the lead negotiator, but also it's Region 8. I'm the director of Region 8. I'm going to be involved, very involved with Vice President Browning. Myself and Vice President Browning have had multiple meetings on site. We had 3 meetings where we asked all the members to come over. We prepared them. We told them what the next steps was going to be. We had a great turnout. Not last week, the week before, myself, George, Jim Bloodsoe, the servicing rep, we walked every shift. We shook every hand. Matter of fact, this young man right here, it's by faith that we're here in St. Pete. Guess what? Him and his family are here on vacation. And I'll get to that in a minute. But walking down the line, I shook his hand. He remembered me. That's why we're in the plant. We had the attorney with us, and all of us, we walked every shift. We like to drove him crazy, as I told you the other day, from line to line. And if I come to your plant, I don't walk the walls, I walk the lines, and I'm going to touch your hand. Because you make that plant profit, you build that product, you make the world go around. But it was an honor to meet you, and I'll get there in a minute. We've already, just to give you an update, so we've been there twice. We've walked the plant, we've met with memberships. Last Friday, the 14th, Jim and Cassandra Shortridge out of the president's office went down, and we got our temporary election committee training. They're ready to go, and they are fired up. We had over every person that run for that temporary election committee was there, and the alternates, plus others that wanted to be involved. We had over 35 or 40 there for that training. They left, they're engaged and fired up. Now we're getting ready to elect a temporary bargaining committee that's going to bargain this contract for these workers at Volkswagen. Chuck's going to put them through a very, very intense week training. He's going to teach them how to bargain, and he's going to teach them how to cost out an agreement. So when they're sitting there, what's being bargained, and forward people, if there's anybody here in the forward bargaining committee, raise your hand. If you bargain with Chuck Brown and raise your hand, you know what I'm talking about. In sub-council, he taught each and every one of you how to cost out an agreement, and everybody in here should learn that. But he's going to put them through him and Brandon Keats, his top AA, and his staff, along with my staff, will be there, and we're going to have a bargaining committee very well trained, organized, and ready to take on Volkswagen. And I talked with Chuck yesterday. Jim got a call yesterday from the attorney. We're putting out surveys. Fixing to start putting out surveys to Matt and the rest of the membership to tell us what they want to see in their contract. Is all of you do. Well, the attorney said, we want the survey. We ain't getting a damn survey. Okay? He'll see the survey when we present it to him across the table. Because he's not cooperating right now. He's not cooperating with Jim. People being terminated. They're laying people off, shutting down the battery plant. They're already doing stuff they shouldn't be doing. And as Chuck said yesterday, I'm going to teach them a lesson. And if you know Chuck Browning, he will teach them a lesson, along with myself and our staff. So it's already shaping up for a good fight, but we're ready, and we're going to come out successful, and we're going to negotiate, Matt, you and your brothers and sisters, a good contract with all of your help too. I know we have some new members in here, but on April the 19th, myself, President Fain, was in this plant. It was a night you and I will never forget. When we started this process, for those that don't know, through a true NLRB election, it had multiple tables set up. You had Volkswagen people that supported Volkswagen, those that supported UAW, you have them sitting at the table. You have the National Labor Relations Board, they dump the ballots out. They put them in counts of 50. They take them to the tables. The board starts yes, no, yes, no. Fast forward, it was a blowout from the word go. And when I say that, it was 2,628 voted yes to 985 no. But to watch that play out was, it was just incredible. The smiles, Sean would walk this way, I would walk this way. But to see Steve Cochran to see Billy, to see Goat. I know these names don't know, but they've been very, very instrumental in keeping this alive. Yolanda. And I can go on and on with those that go back to 2014, 2019, that never let this dream die. To see them that night, finally, the smile and the energy they had, it was priceless. And then the vote was over. Shaggy, will you bring up the video? Then the vote was over and the celebration started. So I want to show you a video of the flag. It's not playing. Hang on. It's not up there. This is what it was, the lot. As you can see, I had a flag in my hand. That flag has been with me for a long time. That flag was with me the day that we won the election in my plant. I've had that flag. I put that flag on that pole and I said, it's going to Volkswagen with me. We get out of the car and here I go walking and people look at me, he's got a flag. That's who we are, because I knew we were going to win. So I packed that flag in the plant, they're looking at me. Just about done, the National Labor Relations Board agent come over and looked. He said, don't you wave that flag when we announce the results in this building. I said, that's fine, I'll wave it outside. But the bottom line is I wanted that flag to be there and wanted people there to see that we're here and we're proud. So that was a great night. And then we went from there and went back to the Union Hall. Can you bring up that picture? When we were at the Union Hall with Yolanda. The flag. That's okay. Anyway, we went back to the Union Hall and we did a press conference, and it was a joyful night and a lot of cheering and hollering, but it was a wonderful night. So where we are with Volkswagen, we're getting very, very close to start bargaining once we get these surveys out, and then we get the temporary bargaining committee and trained. So yesterday or day before, Sean texted me, he said, man, he said, I was out in the parking lot and I run into a guy that's at Volkswagen. I said, really? He said, yeah, his name is Matt Wallace. I said, wow, that's just crazy that somebody would be here from Volkswagen on vacation the same time we're here. So yesterday, we're out there eating. I felt somebody tap me on the back, and this young man is smiling from ear to ear, and some of you have spoke with him. We sat down and talked, and I said, brother, this is your region now. These are your brothers and sisters. So I'm going to ask Matt to come up and just speak a few minutes. But brothers and sisters, let's welcome Matt Wallace, one of our newest members from Local 42 Volkswagen. Yeah! So Matt, I want to present you with this Region 8 Summer School shirt and its beach bag, and welcome to Region 8.
Thank you, sir.
And you make sure when you get back, so the mic's yours.
Go ahead.
No, I want you to say a few words. Tell them what it's like.
I haven't sat down. So guys, it has been a blessing. I mean, really a true blessing to finally Volkswagen to decide whether, hey, what do you really want? What do you want out of life? Do you want to go with the same stuff you're going with, or do you want to go with someone that's going to take care of you? I had talked to so many people at Volkswagen to change their mind because of just because I know about what the union has to offer. It's stuff like this that I see, that I know that can come out of it. The retirees, I mean, everything. I just enjoy every minute of being around brothers and sisters of mine, especially when we know that we can do better. I was so happy that day. I knew in the bottom of my heart that, hey, this time it's going to change. So for it to change and then me be here, meeting everybody, I was so blessed. Guys right here, I had actually just walked up to their table because I saw them down there. I was like, look, I got to go down there and speak to them. They're brothers of mine, they're sisters of mine. I'm just going to walk in, and the wife was like, you just going to walk in? And, yeah. Why not? We're family now.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many of you guys that I've talked to. Like I said, everybody that I have not really talked to, I will, if I do see you and see you have UAW shirt on, I will definitely say, hey, how you doing? Hopefully everything's going good. I'm so-and-so and I'm from Local 42. But it's just been a blessing. Literally has. I mean, I don't even know what else to say, but I can't wait to go back to Volkswagen. I've already said so much to them. So many people I've talked to from different shifts, sent pictures with people that I've taken pictures with, just telling them what's going on down here. And then they're like, are you serious? You're at the same place? I'm like, yeah. Like, so something's telling you to do something while you're down there. So here I am, and got invited. So I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
I really do.
Thank you. Welcome. Stay right here a minute. Stay right here. I believe in fate. He was here for a reason. And as I told him, look at this room. And he gets to experience it and not prepared to see what he was going to see, but just to see the UAW, it meant the world to him. I know how he feels, and there may be others that feel the same way. When 30 years ago, when I seen somebody with UAW, I wanted to talk to him because I was proud to be a part of the UAW. So, Matt, hope you have a great rest of the week with your family. You have a shirt now. You can go back, got a beach bag. And yeah. Take that shirt off. Yeah. Yeah. UAW. 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 Yay! Now that's a moment. I have never seen a shirt changed on stage, but I love it. You can work out with me anytime. I can see you do it. This is what it's about, man. You never know what's going to happen. It makes memories. We'll never forget this. So, Matt, again, thank you. We're proud to have you, and we look forward. Hey, I looked at him a while ago. I said, "Are you going to run?" He said, "I don't know." I said, "This ought to inspire you to run for an office." Yeah. So now I want to talk about a few other things. Mercedes. As you know, and President Fain touched on so many things yesterday that I want to talk about, and that's great. You did an amazing job, but I do want to touch on Mercedes. You know, myself and President Fain went down for a rally. We met so many people. We stood up. We spoke in the back of a truck. They were engaged and fired up. But the sad part is what the company did, okay? I don't know if some of you know the outcome. 56% of the workers voted no and 40% voted yes. That's going to change next time around, okay? Because I promise you, President Fain is going to push the organizing department. We're going to continue to stay engaged. We're going to figure out what worked, what didn't work, and we're going to get ready. But you heard President Fain talk about I went to Germany. I got asked to attend and go to Germany to the Employee Works Council meeting and the European Work Council and the World Employee Committee Conference. And the main reason I went is I wanted to meet colleagues from around the world, which I did, from Poland, South Africa, Germany, you name it, from all around the world were there. And when I walked in, they had my name tag about the third row back. And I told Christian and Matt, I said, I'm not sitting on the third row. I'm going to sit on the front row so when Ollie, the CEO and the head of labor come in, I'm going to be able to look them eye to eye, what I got to say to them. But Germany was represented, Argentina, Belgium, China, France, India, USA, Italy, the Netherlands, Poland, Romania, Sweden, Spain, Hungary, Turkey, and Iggy Mattel. And I got to know them all. So on Tuesday morning, Ollie, and I don't know how to pronounce his last name, he's the CEO of Mercedes, and by the way, he makes $12.7 million with his pension a year. He's in the top 40 of CEO pays. He walks in this room, he's about 6'6". He brought his staff with him and he sat down. And he goes through his presentation and I sat there and I have my remarks ready. So right out of the gate, a young lady from Argentina hits them with the fact of their safety, how bad safety is in the plant in Argentina. And then I get my moment. And I looked him eye to eye and I told him that I did not appreciate how they treated the workers in Tuscaloosa. I did not appreciate that you went out and you hired 4 anti-union law firms, 4, and spent millions of dollars to educate supervisors in startup meetings to single out workers from 1 year to 5 years and intimidate them. And he interrupted, he said, you know I was the plant manager there and started my family. I said, I know all about you. I don't need you to tell me that you were the plant manager. I know that. I went on to tell him, instead of normal team meetings, they would conduct meetings and led by group leaders giving testimony about why workers should vote no to form a union. Again, you had workers from 1 to 5 pulled out of the work line, off of the assembly line, and put in meetings to tell them why they didn't need the union. And then lastly, they brought in a Southern black preacher. Dr. Reverend Matthew Wilson, Providence Missionary Baptist Church, to walk the floor, line, to stop the line, to tell workers they didn't need UAW, they needed God in prayer. I'm telling you the facts. As President saying yesterday, it's the facts. I'm not making this up. That's what they allowed, and there's a lot more that I could tell you. I proceeded to tell him that when I look to my right and I look to my left at the colleagues around the world, you don't do it in their country. You do not do what you did in the United States because the United States laws do not work in our favor and they work in corporate favor. It worked in their favor and they abused the laws. And I told him, I said, Germany, you don't do it. Romania, you don't do it. Poland, you don't do it. But you took advantage of the laws in the United States that our government allows and passes, and you abused them and you abused the workers. Shame on you. But I said, look at this wheel right here. You look at this wheel. We're not going nowhere, and we're coming back, and we're going to be stronger than ever. And I said a lot more, and I'm not going to, it's just, I can go on and on. But I told him, I said, President Fain and myself would like to have a sit-down meeting with you to discuss what you did. And I'm requesting a meeting. He said, I hear your request. I said, you hear my request, but you're not answering my question. I'm requesting a meeting. He wouldn't answer. He said, by the way, you understand we have lawsuits. Well, yeah, I understand that because we filed the lawsuits. And he wouldn't answer my questions. Finally, I decided that, and the Works Council, Ergen, he spoke after that and he stood up for the workers. That's the German Works Council. He's the chair. He sat right next to him and he looked at me and said, look, what you guys did in the United States was wrong. We're not going to stand for it. And when the year comes back around, we're going to stand with the workers, and we expect you to stay neutral. Industrial All, Mercedes signed a neutrality agreement that they would stay neutral. They didn't stay neutral. They violated that, and I asked him that. I said, you signed a neutrality agreement. You violated that. Am I not correct? They did everything they could do to discourage the workers, and they beat them down and just flat out just intimidated them. But we're going to stay strong with Local 112. We're going to continue to fight. We're going to continue to educate. And we're already in the process of, been on a call with Brian Shepard yesterday. George and myself was preparing for a year from now, or less than a year from now, to get ready to go back. But please, what I'm asking, please keep these workers in your thoughts and prayers. And there's no doubt that we're going to have a local from 112 sitting right up here like Matt, and hopefully he'll change his shirt up here and put on a UAW shirt, and he'll be on the stage too. But we're not going to give up. We're going to keep fighting. So that's just a little bit about Mercedes I wanted to discuss. Also, I give a report, and I'd like to go through that. I want to talk about this a little bit. And President Fain touched on this yesterday, and it's not a subject everybody wants to hear. But also, when I took the oath and was sworn in to be an International Executive Board member and director, the Constitution, I have requirements, and I'm going to fulfill them. And when it comes to political side or anything, I'm going to stand up for what I was sworn in for. The 2024 U.S. president election will have a profound impact on the auto industry. A shift in the White House or congressional major could impact environmental policies and the regular environment and lead to changes to the federal tax and incentives supporting for the EV transition. If the 2024 U.S. president election results in a Republican White House or a Congress, the new administration may look to change and eliminate federal funding for EV transition. Additionally, a Republican-led administration will undoubtedly roll back social and labor protection, will make it hard for workers to join unions and collective bargaining. And if you don't think that ain't true, you're wrong. I'm just giving you the facts, as President Fain did. And if the facts hurt, I'm sorry, but I'm going to give you the facts. It's my job, and I'm going to stand here and do that. As much as I love to shake your hand and talk to you, if I don't do my job, then I'm not much of a leader. Outcome of the Big Three contract negotiations had a rippling effect throughout the U.S. economy and beyond. UAW members at Ford, GM, Stellantis won historical wages increases and benefits not seen in a generation. In a response, non-union automakers worried about employees unionizing started giving out large pay increases. Tesla, 10% wage increase. As you heard President Fain yesterday, this is what we did. 10% wage increase. Volkswagen, 11%. And by the way, I'm sure they're going to remind us of that. So be it. We're going to get more than 11% for the Volkswagen workers. They give it. Nissan, 10% wage increases. Honda, 11% wage increases. Toyota, 9% wage increases. Hyundai, 25% wage increases by 2024. This shifted the entire economy of working hours in the U.S. manufacturing sector, saw aggressive pay raises by 4% in December 2023, the largest monthly increase since 1996. Additionally, during the strikes, thousands of auto workers throughout the country reached out to join the UAW, creating a movement for non-union auto workers to organize, taking the collective action. I can't even begin to tell you, even today, how much the phones continue to ring off. We need help. We need help. Irene, you see her shaking her head. She knew where I was going. Page after page after page of calls, names. Unfortunately, some of them go somewhere, and unfortunately, they don't. In Tennessee, one that we really pushed hard and still pushing, I believe we're going to win. Shortly after Jim Bludso was in negotiations, and Jim, you know where I'm going, in Tennessee, he goes and meets with them. Within 24 hours, they walked 2 of them out of the building. That's how fast the word spread. Fortunately, we got them back to work, and that's a good thing. But I believe we're going to win there. Where's that at? I can't remember in Tennessee. Where's that plant at? Athens. There we go. Athens, Tennessee. So very proud of that, and these workers are standing up. In the United States, most auto workers and non-union are fighting workers when they're trying to organize. Employees have immunization power. Health care is dependent on employees. So if you lose your job, you lose your health care from your family, unless the plant is a union plant. Workers have no representation at all. There is no, this is what I was telling in Germany, there is no work council. Over there, it's different. Here, you lose your job, you're done. Employees set condition unilaterally, and workers basically can be fired for any reason. Workers have no representation. Only if more than 50% of the workers vote for the union in an election. Unions can bargain their own contracts. If they win elections, workers become a member of the union only if they win the election. Here's some stats I want you to listen to. In general, employees are extremely hostile toward unions and using legal and illegal means to undermine the organizing. In recent surveys of the NLRB election from 2016 to 2024 found 74% of employees brought in one or more management consultant to run anti-union campaigns. It's exactly what they did at Mercedes. 85% of employees force workers to attend mandatory captive audit meetings during working hours. 44% of employees use one or more meetings to interrogate workers about others in support of unions. 49% of employees make promises for workplace improvements in return for not supporting the union. For example, Mercedes, they brought in a new plant manager. And his famous words, "Give me a chance." 30 years ago, I heard them same words. Give us a chance. I was put in a room, a dark room, asked to sit down, and they turned the projector on behind me, asking me why I supported union. So I want to give you these facts of how it really works. And I wouldn't answer the questions. And finally, Danny, the supervisor, said, "Are you going to answer that blankety blank question?" I said, "No." He said, "Get your butt up and go back to work." Then I was brought into HR. "Why do you support the union?" I said, "Denise, I'm not answering the questions. It's what I believe in. That's where I'm going." I give you these facts. If you've never lived it, never to breathe it, this is what the workers at Mercedes went through. It's horrible. It's frightening. They pulled me off my forklift, just like they do at Mercedes, just like they do at other drives. You heard me say they walked a guy out. They put fear in you, or they fire one or two, and then that puts fear throughout the plant. Told me I had to run production. I didn't even take breaks because I knew if I didn't hit 85%, I would lose my job. It's real. It is real what these workers go through. But also what Matt and the workers at Volkswagen did, the same, he knows what I'm telling here. In 2019, they brought in their old plant manager. They changed plant managers, "Give me another chance," and workers believed that. And if you look, Matt's probably shaking his head. Well, this time they didn't buy that nonsense, and that's why we're so proud of them. But this is some of the notes and some of the stuff I went through at Mercedes. But at the end of the day, when the Director of Labor Relations got up and sat down, I had my moment with her. I said, ma'am, you ought to be ashamed for what you did. You fired 4 or 5 of those workers down there for speaking out because they believed in this. I said, the CEO just sat right here and said that Mercedes-Benz, we all know in Germany how important football is, what we call soccer. He went through a slide talking about that Mercedes-Benz are going to be at the top of the league. They don't play in the lower league. And I said, ma'am, these workers want to be a part of America's union and be represented, just like he said Mercedes-Benz want to play in the top of the league. Well, they want to be a part of the UAW, but you squished them, and what you did to them was wrong. And I said, when you fire somebody has cancer, and what you did to that individual, and what you did to her, and what you did to their family, shame on you. And I said, I'm asking you to bring them all back to work and put them back because they have a right to voice their opinion, just like you guys have a right to voice yours. But I said, and I asked her, she said, I can't do that. I said, why not? Well, there's lawsuits. I said, ma'am, you can do anything you want to do. But I'm asking you here in front of the whole world to bring those workers back and put them back to work just because they spoke up and voiced their opinion for this union. Wouldn't do it, wouldn't answer my questions. Finally, she just wouldn't say a word. But it was worth every 12 hours flying over and 12 hours flying back, be able to look at them eye to eye and tell them how I felt to represent those workers at Mercedes. So I'm proud of that. National Institute of Health up in Bethesda, Maryland, research. These guys were in negotiations right now, about 5,000 workers. These young kids, they're very smart, bright. We're in negotiations, been in negotiations for about 3 weeks. They do research from cancer. They do studies and research on your brain. It is incredible what these people do. Right now, things are going a little tough. A company has multiple attorneys in there. They're making claims that everything we put across the table is in violation of law. So we have broke. We go back to the bargaining table in July, and I spoke with President Fain. I guarantee we go back, we're going to have attorneys. We're going to revamp. We're going to put a couple of attorneys in there with us, and so they're in for a shock when we get back in July. When we go back to the table, we're going to be well-oiled machine and ready to go. Because what they're doing, they bluff you. And that's just the bottom line. You got to call out their bluff. When they tell you you're violating, show me where I'm violating the law. Remember that. If you're sitting with a plant manager or HR and they say, well, you know, you're violating the law or this or that, show me. Well, the contract, we don't see it that way. They're going to say, we don't interpret it that way. Well, here's how we interpret it. Don't listen to how they interpret it. You tell them how you interpret it. That way, therefore, if you're in bargaining, take notes. Remember the interpretation and remember the intent of that language you bargained. So hopefully we got to get this contract done before the election, because if President Biden doesn't win and the White House changes, the laws are going to change with the National Labor Relations Board, and it's going to kill this negotiations. That's how critical it is that we got to get this bargaining done. So that's going quite well. And then, as President Fain talked about, again, 286, Penske, very proud. I can just tell you in this region that if your rep are bargaining and we need to strike, and it gets down to the point we need to strike, I'm not afraid to strike. But the bottom line, you better be ready. You say, wow, that you're being strong. No, you got to have your strike committees ready. You got to have everything lined up that when I get on the phone with you, I'm going to ask you, and every rep in here knows this, are we prepared? Are we ready? We're not going to hit a picket. We're not going to hit the street if we're not ready. And what I mean by that, we're going to have signs. We're going to have porta potties. You're going to know we walk from dusk to dawn. Are we going to work? What hours are we going to walk? 4 hours, 6 hours? I'm going to have strike department lined up, ready to come when we hit. Down in El Paso, they were there signing them up in 24 hours. For those who don't know, strike pays $500. You get your medical, based on your medical plan, we're going to get a copy of your policy. Your rep will get a copy of that. We're going to mirror that, and you get prescription drugs. That's how it works. You get paid from day one. You guys made that change at the convention. You guys made that change. But if we need to hit the street, we'll hit the street. But I'm going to go here. And you're going to think I'm being a little harsh. But it breaks my heart. Jim, Tom Williams, where you at? Jim, raise your hand. Tom, where you at? Tom Williams. Okay. These guys, Jim was in negotiation down in Von Orr with Carlex. We had the company right where we wanted them. I said, we're going to strike their ass. The committee folded. You pay dues. We had them right where, Jim, am I right?
Oh, absolutely.
Had them right where we wanted them, and they folded. Tom, here's Tom. He just has a local in Louisville. But Jim and Tom, both of these locals, I wanted it, they wanted it worse than they did. He has a local in Louisville that just took $1.50 over 3 years because they were afraid to strike. That's your ace in the hole. Would not strike. And you may say, well, Tim, maybe they can't afford it. Look, I asked. I know exactly what their wages are. I know what they were bringing home and what the strike pay was going to be the same amount, if not more. But you're not willing to stand up and fight for yourself and your family? I don't get that. I just don't. I'm sorry. And I wanted to bring that out here. And the whole purpose of bringing that out here is just shocking that you're a part of the UAW, and when your term comes up and you're not prepared and ready, and then you just assume to let the company win. I don't get it. I can't. It just don't register with me. But I want to give you real life stories of what goes on every day. And right here, we had to fold. Jim was about to lose his mind. I had to just get off phone. I couldn't believe it. And now the committee, the president, done got voted out. That's the real life stories we live in. So I encourage you, don't be fearful to stand up and voice your opinion. Don't be fearful to hit the street. For example, 862, where you at? If you don't think they ain't badass, they are. 276 is bad. Every one of you are. But here's a local right here that was ready and willing to go over there, stand on the street with Tom and them, where they would have put hundreds. We could have made this company look bad, and the committee folded. And you say, well, Tim, you're beating them up. No. It breaks my heart that these workers took $1.50 over 3 years. The company said, well, we can't. We got to bid to work we got 13 months before we can bid to work. You know what we said? We'll give you a 1-year agreement. You know what they said? No, we don't want a 1-year agreement. You know why? Because they knew damn well they're going to win the work. They knew what they were doing. We tried to tell the committee. We did everything we could do to stand up for these workers. 1-year agreement. Said no. I said, Tom, strike their ass tonight. Right now. Am I not telling the truth? I said, 6 o'clock, you put them on the street. He's calling me at 3 o'clock in the morning. Tim, they're scared. They're afraid. Now I got to rethink. I can't have 25 people out there and the rest cross the line. We had to call it off. And then what did I do? I had to call the chairman, 862, Kentucky Truck Plant. I had to call Todd Dunn. Thank you guys, but we're not striking. It's a real life stories. And then also we have those success stories that you heard me talk about in El Paso. I'm just being real with you. So what I'm asking you, if you're a small local, big local, stand up and fight. And you got to prepare your membership. Starting right. If your contract expires 2 years from now or a year from now, start. Don't be afraid to talk about it. Get it out. Don't wait till the last minute. Please. There you go. Thank you. The strength of our union is in an engaged, informed, and educated membership. That's where I'm going here. You don't wait till we start bargaining and talk about what the word strike means. You start preparing the membership. In my local, Gerald Ogles, you notice I never forget names. Tim, when we're taking that damn strike vote. Because we lived it, we breathed it. They couldn't wait till we took that strike vote. They were ready for it. They would not let me forget when we got to take that strike vote. 30 to 45 days before we went out. It doesn't mean you're striking, but you got to send a message to that company. Are we going to win? Or are we going to let them win? But please, work hard, prepare your membership. Preparation starts right here. That's why you're here. If you're in collective bargaining or grievance, listen and learn. And go back and educate. And be prepared.